Here's your wrestling news for November 4th, 2021. And your headlines for today include how Tony Khan found out about Jon Moxley's decision to enter Rehab, Tony Khan opens up about booking around losing Jon Moxley to Rehab, WWE fires several employees this week, proves that no one is safe, more releases expected soon. Impact Wrestling removes multiple names from roster. Chris Jericho calls out AEW star for misspelling Brodie Lee's name, Amanda Huber reacts. Sasha Banks is pumped about Kalisto's AEW debut. Why Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross missed WWE this week. WWE keeps dropping new Bray Wyatt merchandise as his non-compete clause runs up. Thunder Rosa returns after concussion during AEW Dynamite, and more. We are starting off today with Jon Moxley, who is checked into an inpatient alcohol rehab facility. This news was broken earlier this week by Tony Khan, and it's been a delicate situation for the company. After all, Moxley is one of their top names, a former AEW World Champion, and was meant to be in last night's AEW World Title Eliminator semifinals match, but on Wrestling Observer Live, Tony Khan explained that despite the unfortunate timing, Mox has the entire support of AEW. It's actually good circumstances because it's a good thing that he's doing, it's a brave thing, and we're all here to support him. It was in the last couple of days, talking to him and Renee. Renee is talking to him and Renee spoke to us and said, they both thought this was the best way to go, and talking to both of them, we agree. Since the announcement, a flood of support has come in from the wrestling world, as fans, fellow wrestlers, and pro wrestling journalists have all shared their support for Moxley at this time. Khan added that though wrestling is Moxley's business, his wife and newborn daughter are his life, noting, "I think that there are some things more important than wrestling. In this case, the most important thing we can do now is support Jon and his recovery. It's great to see how serious everyone is taking Moxley's recovery, as it was only a few decades ago that Scott Hall's alcoholism was exploited as a gimmick, and we're adding our support for Moxley to the growing wave of people who are behind the former AEW and WWE World Champion." Without Moxley, AEW is going to have to make some changes, and have already begun the process, replacing him in last night's Dynamite match against Orange Cassidy with Miro. One of the company's most charismatic performers, nobody can quite fill Moxley's shoes, and in that same interview, Tony Khan discussed having to change plans now that the former world champion isn't around. He said, "It's very different. In some ways, it's more difficult. We've never had anyone got someone with such a bad case of COVID that we were afraid they weren't going to make it. We've done a really good job keeping a bubble, I think. In general, people have come back and they've been okay. This is different because it's an ongoing situation. It's one day at a time. It's not like someone is going to kick COVID-19 in 5 days, 3 to 5 days, and come back 2 weeks later. It's a very different situation because Jon's on the forefront of everybody's mind right now. AEW has no choice but to work this situation on a day-to-day basis, and there's no possible return date for Moxley, who should take as long as he needs to beat his problems. Until then, Khan will just have to find a new creative direction for AEW, one that goes without the former world champion in what might be his greatest challenge to date as a booker." Khan broke the news about Moxley's situation after receiving Jon's blessing, and this situation led to not much being revealed ahead of time for last night's Dynamite. In the interview, the AEW president said he'd been holding off making announcements about the show as he wanted to be respectful to Moxley and felt that announcing matches didn't make much sense after they had to send such an important announcement earlier in the week. AEW has shown nothing but class ever since Moxley's situation was made public, as the company realizes that his well-being comes before anything else at this difficult time. Over to WWE, and ever since April 2020, the company has been cutting a ton of names, both on-screen talents and those who work behind the scenes, and now more people are gone. Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp writes that several employees were cut from WWE's offices. As he reports, Fightful has confirmed that WWE had several office cuts this week. We're told in the single digits. The reason for these releases wasn't reported, though we expect it was the dreaded budget cuts, and it also wasn't made clear which departments these cuts came from, only that it was office jobs. It's always terrible to lose your job, especially from a company that's making record profits, and especially this close to the holidays, and we hope those who are gone from WWE can find new roles as the world slowly gets back to normal. One release we do know the name of is Stan Stansky, who is with the company for almost 15 years, serving as the Senior Vice President of Creative Services. Stansky's exit after a lengthy tenure has come as a shock to those in the company, with one source within WWE calling it the ultimate proof no one is safe. That same source added that his departure is, quote, another reminder that this isn't the same company it was a year ago. Hired by the company in late 2006 as Vice President of Creative, Stansky was promoted to Senior Vice President in 2012, but will now have to find work outside WWE. It's been reported that more departures may be revealed soon, but between Stansky and the other names cut this week, nobody is safe from the dreaded pink slip. Over to Impact Wrestling, which hosts plenty of talented wrestlers already, and with ROH closing its doors for the time being, many more could be on the way. That could explain what appears to be recent cuts, as this week, several names were removed from the company's website's roster page. Those names are No Way, Taylor Wilde, TJP, Tommy Dreamer, and Petey Williams. Williams is an obvious cut as he recently had a tryout with WWE as a producer, co-producing last Friday's match between Naomi and Shayna Baszler. Tommy Dreamer isn't a surprising cut, as he was indefinitely suspended following his comments on Dark Side of the Ring, where he defended Ric Flair allegedly forcing a flight attendant to touch his genitals on the infamous 2002 plane ride from hell. Taylor Wilde returned to the company this year after a 9-year retirement, and No Way joined in July after his release from WWE last year. TJP was with Impact before joining WWE in 2016, and after winning that year's Cruiserweight Classic, returned to Impact in July 2019. In a statement issued to PW Insider, Impact officials said that the company's website does not necessarily reflect the accurate roster, and we'll have to see if anyone shows up after being removed from the site this week. On last night's AEW Dynamite, former WWE star Kalisto made his debut for the company, competing as Samurai Del Sol. Teaming with AAA's Arrow star, the pair answered FTR's open challenge for the AAA World Tag Team titles, but came up short against the former Revival. After the show, Del Sol fired off a tweet in which he said he prayed for John Huber, Brodie Lee, before his debut, but Chris Jericho took issue with this tweet. In the tweet, Del Sol spelled John with an H, which isn't how the former TNT champion's name was spelled, and responded with a tweet explaining the error. Although fans felt Jericho's response was inappropriate, the former world champion did receive support from Amanda Huber, John's widow, who said that Del Sol had no excuse to spell her husband's name wrong, claiming the former Kalisto was name-dropping. Del Sol didn't mean to get Huber's name wrong, and it's possible that autocorrect was to blame in this instance, but he'll definitely think twice the next time he references John Huber, if that ever happens again after this week. Jericho wasn't happy about Del Sol's post-show actions, but Sasha Banks was more than happy to see her friend on Dynamite. In a simple tweet, the boss shared Kalisto's new in-ring name, sharing her support for her old friend, who clearly remains close despite the former US champion's release in April this year. Raw news now, as this week's show saw the feud between WWE Champion Big E, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins continue, but one former world champion was nowhere to be seen. Once more, Bobby Lashley was absent from Raw, as he's still not been seen since Crown Jewel, and the Almighty was nowhere to be seen this week, either on TV or backstage. PW Insider reports that Lashley wasn't behind the scenes this week, nor was Karrion Kross, whose last televised appearance was on October 4th's main event, where he defeated Ricochet. No explanation for the absences was given in the report, but it had previously been reported that Kross will undergo a change of character ahead of returning, and that Lashley has been unwell and is recovering from that. Two men who were prominently featured on WWE programming earlier this year, it must be concerning for the two that they're spending so much time off TV, and we'll just have to see what plans are in store for Kross and the Almighty after being nowhere around this week. In July, WWE made one of its most shocking cuts ever when they released Bray Wyatt months after he last appeared on TV during the post-WrestleMania 37 episode of Raw. WWE had a lot in the pipeline when they fired the former Universal Champion, as a Christmas Funko Pop was still released after he was let go. It turns out this isn't the only post-release merch for the ex-WWE superstar, as the IGN store tweeted out that they have new chibi minifigures coming soon, including one of The Fiend. The Fiend will make his WWE return, albeit in minifigure form, alongside the likes of John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. These figures are available for pre-order at $10 each, but don't be surprised if scalpers quickly grab all the Wyatt figures and jack up the prices. Not long after the new merch was announced, Wyatt's name started trending on social media, as fans discussed having WWE licensed merch for him despite his release. Before his release, Wyatt was reportedly difficult to work with one WWE source saying he really deserved to be let go. And although WWE doesn't plan on working with him again, they're happy to keep making money from the Fiend's likeness. And we're ending today with more from AEW as Thunder Rosa is back on TV. Earlier this week, the former NWA Women's World Champion dropped a video where she revealed she'd been sidelined with a concussion, but now she's been medically cleared. On Dynamite, Rosa returned to save Anna Jay, who'd just lost to Jamie Hayter, and earned herself a massive pop from the crowd. Nailing a dropkick, something she wouldn't be allowed to do if she were still on the sidelines, Rosa proved that she's back and ready to wrestle and won't miss her match in the TBS Championship Tournament. This is great news for Thunder Rosa, who's been a popular name in AEW since debuting, and we hope she can avoid any more concussions from here on. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.